Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Mirikitani with a special in-person version of Matt Chat with a head assistant coach from the University of Iowa, your national champion, Terry Brands. Terry, I appreciate you making some time for me today while I'm up here on my way to Coralville.
Thanks for making time for me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So, a lot of things to get to, and I just wanted to start with, after the NCAAs, I saw an interview with Tom where he said that the NCAAs, how important it was to win the team title, that the fans deserve it and frankly expect it. And most of us that have coached have not coached at this level and have not done so at a place where you guys have such high expectations and history and support. I mean, it's a double-edged sword the way I see it. So what is it like to coach at Iowa? What is the best part, and maybe what's a part or two that's a challenge?
The best part is just what you said, the support. Our senior admin is second to zero. And we are so fortunate. I couldn't be more blessed to be in this program and to be supported by these people and the way that they do it. And, I was talking to a guy this morning and I've been in a few places where I've coached, and the senior administration is so visible here. Barbara Burke and Gary Barta. So the downfall side, I don't know if there is one. If you don't like pressure and you don't like the pressure to have to win every year, then you would hate it here. But we absolutely love it and we thrive, and I couldn't be, like I said, I couldn't be more blessed. There is not a downfall that I can tell you of.
The pressure part's interesting, right? Because we have a lot of high school coaches to watch, and I think like other coaches at other levels, and a lot of them are just running good programs, and but if they don't win every year, it's not that big of a deal. Here, the fans here are crazy, and I mean that in a good way.
Yes.
They love wrestling. It's on Iowa Public TV. All those. They know all the rankings probably better than half of us guys that do the rankings, and I'm getting DMs on why the rankings are wrong and everything else. So you guys hadn't won it for a while, and you won it obviously, and the season before got taken away from you. What was that like when you guys had to go in and tell your kids, like after the Big 12s?
We went in and we do what we always do. We give them the information and we give them suggestions, and you have to slide, you have to move. It's like a rule change. It's like anything else. You go with the protocol, and the protocol was laid out. There wasn't anything that we were going to be able to do to change what the NCAA was doing in really the landscape of the country.
Yeah.
How they were shutting everything down, and so you could be, you could be. I don't want to be insensitive, but you could whine about it, or you could move and get ready for the next best thing. And so, and basically what we said is, you never know. This thing could shift, so stay ready. Stay ready. And we, even when they canceled it on that Thursday, we were still
training
in a position of where we could train and get ready. And then all of a sudden, then the arena shut down, and that kind of a thing. And you're kind of knowing it's real there. But our guys are resilient. They understand that when they come in here, when they're recruited, they understand it, and we recruit them because they are resilient.
Yeah.
So the character that you have, the people that you have that you're bringing in, let alone the people that you've been around for X number of years, they understand how to move through this stuff and how to beat this adversity.
So that ends, right? And you guys were prohibitive favorites to win it. Again, the state, the city. I stopped in Hy-Vee today for lunch. I walk in and says, "Go Hawkeyes." In St. Louis, we don't have anything like that. It's not a college town. So, the disappointment had to be significant. Do you give them a week off? Do you just start training? How do you keep them from literally like sliding into a depression?
They don't slide into depression because of what we just talked about. They understand that, hey, we control what we can control. And it's from something as little itty bitty as a clock ticking down. You can control what you're going to do with that action. If you're behind,
yeah,
you can control how you manage a lead. If you're ahead, you can control how you can have success, win, and dominate. And the thing with the depression is the same thing. I can go into depression. I can be a victim in some circumstance that has been created. Or I can be resilient and be a champion in the environment that I'm in, or the environment that has been presented to me. So that part to me is easy. The not easy part is the pieces of the fans. You know, when you talk to a fan and they don't understand that, they're like, "You guys, you would have won." We don't know if we would have won. Yeah, we were on track and we were doing the right things, and you know, with the way the Big Tens went and the way that the seeds were on paper, yeah, it is what it is. But that's not how wrestling is. If it was that way, then you guys would make rankings, and then we would just be done. And
just show up,
do the final ranking,
pick up the trophy,
weigh in, and then we'll just put them on the podium 1 through 8. And that's silly to even say, but really you wrestle it for a reason. The rankings are for fans. The rankings are for clicks. They're for
it's good for the promotion of the sport, right?
Promotions, yeah.
I mean, that part's good, right?
Like, it's awesome. Rankings are great.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like the draft with the NFL. That's all you're hearing about now on sports radio is the draft. Yeah. Oh, the Lakers lost again. Oh, the draft. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there's a lot there that I understand, but I also understand as a coach and a mentor of young people that you get what you earn, and you doggone better be wrestling for what you want to accomplish. It's not going to be given to you. It never has been. It never will be.
Yeah. I think a lot of... I'm going to wait a second for this airplane to go by.
Life flight. University, UIHC.
I think all of us had to make some adjustments in our life because of COVID. You know, I mean, it's impossible to say that everybody's life was normal. But you guys, when you look at the off season, I guess not off season, the off college season, right? Like, you know, it happened right after the Big 12s, and you guys got to wrestle sort of an abbreviated schedule this year. What did you guys learn that maybe made you better coaches? Like, did you do tapering cycles different? Did you learn to give them more or less time off?
You learn and you give okay, so here's the thing. Of course, we were all affected. I know families that their mother died of corona. A good friend of mine, an ex-highway patrol out in Pennsylvania, his mom died. He was in the glass and couldn't put his freaking hands on her because they were with the ridiculous notion that he can't go in and see his mom that's dying of corona. So there was no human contact. So I know it's real. A good friend of mine out in Colorado, coach in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, lost a brother that wasn't even, 65 years old yet.
Yeah.
And so I know it's real, and I know it's hit home very, very close to me. And I'm not insensitive to that. But as far as, the coaching and the things that you learn how to communicate if somebody does start to slide toward the woe is me because of corona. So then you can coach. Then you can, develop that mindset of, okay, well, how do you get through it though? Okay? Or whatever. It'd be no different than any other problem that we're trying to solve. As far as the cycles and how much time you give, our guys come in and they know how to get ready on their own. They know how to get warmed up and can get a good hour and 45-minute ball buster in on their own. So, through that process of, where we had to move off campus with our club, with our RTC.
Yeah.
Through that process, our RTC guys they were great at it. They were great at it. And as far as our college guys, when we came back in the room in June 7th, we were back in this building on June 7th, and they were awesome. They were in good shape. They were running the hills. They were pounding the pavement.
Yeah.
Their base shape was good. They were playing frisbee football. They were whatever,
Yeah.
And so it wasn't, from a wrestling point of view and a developmental point of view, it wasn't that big of a problem. It was just that little slide here. You got corona, you got a test, and you're not coming in the building unless you test negative, and so we do that. We went to everyday testing on January 1st, then you do that. And you test every day. You come in here, and the ladies are great. The medical team that we had in here, they were awesome. It was not a big deal. It was not an inconvenience. It's an inconvenience if you don't want to wrestle in the Nationals, or if you want to do what we did last year, but it's not an inconvenience to be in. Hey, okay, well, you can either test every day, or you can stick the thing in your nose and shove it in the vial, or you can't wrestle in the national tournament. Let me think about that one for a minute. See what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd that it's an inconvenience, because it's not. It never was. And our guys understood that, and our guys are great that way.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a lot of sports. So like I watch college football, things like that. When Nick Saban at Alabama, those guys win nationals, he's already on a plane the next day recruiting. You guys won it. How much time do you actually let yourselves, you, Tom, Telford, Morningstar, your whole staff, your training staff, your the kids on the team, the 30 some odd guys on the team, because I know it's a team effort. How much do you just mentally just let them say, hey, you won, like take a day off, or just run light, or is it just right back to the grind?
You're in a roster that has a lot of different moving parts to it, like these guys that were getting ready for the U20s.
Yeah.
They didn't just wake up after the national tournament and then look at the calendar and go, oh, the U20s are the end of April, beginning of May, and then, oh, we'll start getting ready for that. This is something that they were getting ready for through, February and maybe even January, where they start to gear up toward that freestyle side. So it's not like you have just a group of 35 guys or 30 guys that you're saying, okay, we just won the Nationals, we're going to do this. You have so many moving parts. Now, the guys that were in the national tournament, they had a lot more autonomy. Come and do whatever you want. Not autonomy from our end, from their end. And same thing with, take Colin Shriver, for example. He's getting ready for the U20s.
Okay.
If he didn't want to come in, then you need a day or two or three or a week, then take the week. Because ultimately, it's going to be about you and what you want to accomplish and what your performance is. And so when you're him, and he is about the high level of wrestling that he is, and obviously he's going to be in the wrestling room.
Right.
See what I mean? Those are the kind of guys that we recruit, and the guys that don't understand that fully or wholly, they get it. They learn it because there's so many great examples in here.
Yeah, they're not going to slide, right?
And yeah, I was that way, and of course, they don't wrestle every single day. We're not robots. We're not. The perception. I mean, the perception that and the way that other programs talk about us in recruiting battles, it's just simply not true. Our guys have a lot of fun. They have downtime when they need downtime, and they train hard when they want to train hard, and they have a lot of fun winning, and they hate to lose when they get beat. They figure out what happened, and then they move on. It's.
I was going to ask you this. You kind of opened it up. Every time
you're alluding to it. So
no. Well, maybe by accident. So, you, Tom, Morningstar, you guys have always, whenever I've called, asked for an interview, whatever, you guys have always been kind and either said yes or like I can't because we're, like I called Morningstar before the Big Tens. He's like, look, we're just shutting it down until hopefully we accomplish this goal, that sort of thing. And I recruited hard at the junior college level, and I know what those battles are like, and people dang near say anything about anybody to get kids. But you said it, like, what is probably the biggest misconception of you guys besides the fact that, like, I saw Tom do the press conference where he acted like a robot and, pretended that way. But your kids seem like they're a big family. It doesn't seem like, it doesn't,
and
what you see doesn't match up to what's being put out there.
And how do you fake that? How do you, hey guys, fake that you really like each other? How do you fake that? You can't fake that. You can't fake this culture. You can't fake this culture. And the places and the websites and the companies that that can drive content like this, we won't let them in our room because our guys don't want them in our room because they're focused. Their focus is different. And so then they're just going to ignore us and put pictures of other teams up and put our guy in the background when he got beaten. Stuff like that. And you don't think that we don't know that's going on? You don't think our guys don't know that's going on?
Of course.
I mean, think about the fairness of it. Well, who cares about the fairness of it? We're going to do the things that we think is best. Our guys are going to respond in the way that they think is best. If you called Kemmerer and he would respond to you and he would let you know that, hey, I can get you an interview at this and this time. This is how much time I have left. And And if you want me at another time, I don't know if I can do it, but we'll work on a time that we can
Sure.
mutually, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how the industry should work. And it's a funny, do I dare say, almost a double standard?
I think you can say that. I've
that-
been on both sides of the camera. I actually get it. I think a lot of people that only do what I'm doing now and never coached don't understand.
But I mean, even guys that do coach that are in other programs, they know what they say about us.
Oh, well, for sure.
They
that.
know east of here, they know what they're saying about us. And we have documents from guys that they've recruited and papers and letters where they talked about, why would you want to wrestle for that program? Why would you want to wrestle for Terry and Tom Brands? And it's real.
I know.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's not made up. This is stuff in their handwriting with their signature on the document. Now, does that bother me? No. It
doesn't bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. But what it does do is it does present an obstacle that we know that what we're up against when we go out on that road and we hammer it. And we don't, I'm not saying we're better. I'm not saying that we're better. I'm saying we're different. And that's the message that we give to our young people. And that's the message that we give to the people that we recruit. And take it or leave it, because at the end of the day, if you don't want to be here, it's not going to work anyway,
Yeah.
right?
It's like a marriage, right?
And if you want to be here, you are absolutely going to love it. You are absolutely going to love it. Spencer Lee, use him as an example. He came here because he knew that he would get pushed to a place of his discomfort. That's why he came here.
To be uncomfortable.
That's why he came here, and that is very powerful. That is very powerful.
So that's a really powerful statement, like you said. Yeah. You mentioned Kemmer, and so one of the thoughts, you guys obviously had a team. This is the craziest year. Like if I was doing all the rankings, normally the first thing you do is pull out all the seniors, right? And then, like if you were the champ and I was second and I was a junior and you were a senior, like I slide up to one minus red shirts and all that kind of stuff. No one's pulled out this next year, unless they opt out. Everyone has the option of coming back.
Right.
And Kemmer's, obviously I'm singing to the choir on that. And you guys have had to, figure out scholarships and schools have had to do all that sort of thing. With a kid like Kemmer, I've read the articles about how important he was in that whole recruiting pipeline you guys got going with Stritt Matter and all those PA kids. 7 years. Like, I saw him walking in this morning, or just now, he said hi, waved, really, I don't know him at all. It seemed like a super nice kid. How do you keep it fresh for a guy that's just been here that long?
He keeps it fresh because he's about the top stand.
Do you think if he had won, he might not come back?
I don't know.
That's a good answer.
I don't spend a lot of,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me
Sure.
if he didn't win, and what difference would it make if he did or if he
No.
would or wouldn't come back? And I'm not being critical of your question.
No, it's a bad question.
No, it's not. It's not a bad question. But to answer that, or for me to actually spend energy on thinking about that, it
On a
doesn't make
hypothetical,
sense
yeah.
because the decision that he makes is a decision he makes based on his experiences as he passes through situations in life. And
Yeah.
he didn't win, and
Sure.
so he's going to stay
Right.
as of right now. So what are we going to do? We're going to move forward. And you saw him walking in. He was probably, pretty. He wasn't walking like.
No, he was
hoping,
in a good
right?
mood.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's on. He's moved on. It's not that he's forgotten. It's not that it didn't mean anything to him. It means that he has evaluated his performance, and now he's moving on to the next best thing for himself.
You're wearing a Hawkeye Wrestling Club zip-up or jacket. I'm amazed at how these RTCs have impacted college wrestling. I'd be the first one to say I was completely wrong. I thought the colleges would be driving where the RTCs went, and it feels like the RTCs are a critical part of recruiting. Like, hey, we have these athletes here, you can train alongside them. I think an obvious example of a school that's benefited from that is like a Nebraska when you had Jordan Burroughs there for all those years, that kind of thing. It makes sense. What is your vision? Well, first of all, how do you like how this RTC stuff has developed? Is it what you thought it would be? Let me just start with that.
Well, remember, Iowa City and the Hawkeye Wrestling Club is the first RTC. It was founded in 1973 by Gable and Kurtelmeyer.
Yeah.
So I grew up, meaning that I wrestled when I came here in 1987. I wrestled in this system. The Hawkeye Wrestling Club was here. So it's not anything new to me. So yeah, of course we know the value of it. We grew up in it.
But it's changed, right? It's the whole system has changed.
It's changed, but because people in other institutions is that what you mean? Like other institutions now, there's a whole host of them.
Well, like I was just in Arizona State a couple weeks ago doing a podcast, and Sunkist and you guys were like right on the forefront of these RTCs. Art Martori's a legend in our sport, and now everybody's got one. I mean, like there's non-Division I schools that have them, and they're using them for all different reasons, and 99% of those reasons are good. But I'm saying it's changed from there was like you guys and everybody else chasing it to now.
From a landscape point of view, I think it's awesome. I think it's been great for our country. It's great for our development. It's millions and if not hundreds of millions of dollars of resources that USA Wrestling doesn't have to worry about. And a lot of this stuff it's been awesome for our guys. You can actually do a little bit of a living.
Yeah.
You can.
Which is a lot different when you were doing it, right?
Yeah, but then at the end of the day, I always say, and this is where I'm old-fashioned, or where guys will be really critical of this statement is, I didn't do it for the money.
Yeah. I get that, but it would have been nice to get paid
right?
while you were going.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you do things because you love it.
Sure.
And you pick and choose based on.
Well, you coach because you love
for
it.
Me.
But you coach because you love it. But if they decided to pay you $10,000 more, you probably wouldn't turn it down.
No, but if they decided to pay me $10,000 less, I wouldn't
still
turn
do
it down either.
Yeah, I get it. That's fair.
So,
what's your vision for Hawkeye Wrestling Club? Daniel Dennis is the head coach, correct? So, it's not a quad now, right? Like it's 3 years till the next Olympic Games and the trials and everything else. What's is your goal to have a lot of kids at that in the trying out for the Olympic team?
Our goal is every year, and you saw kind of last year and 2 years ago and 3 years ago, we had a really, really strong presence. And when a certain somebody left, there was a lot of drama, and it just the whole thing collapsed. Probably that's on us a little bit, not maybe having our hands in it more. We kind of really trusted this guy with the development and kind of running the stuff. And he basically kind of, and I'm not bitter at all, but the reality is he kind of gutted us. And so we felt that, but also part of that is because of the strength of our collegiate team with heavy on the senior side. So now when these guys when their eligibility is up, then they'll start wrestling for Olympic world gold medals. You're going to see the club start to increase again with membership.
Yes, I mean, like all the guys that would have graduated this year, that have another year.
Not all of them.
No, but those are the guys who would have been eligible for it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Is Kemmer going to wrestle international, or is he going to go into the workforce? I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. He knows probably. But I have a strong sense of what he's going to do, but it's not even something that you're. The thing is that you're moving with these guys together. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
So whatever Kemmer's decision is, that's going to be
you support
decision.
it.
Yeah. I mean, he gives us everything. We give him everything we got. And when he walks away, he's going to always be a Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was going to say he's literally going to be a Hawkeye for life, for sure. What do you guys think about women's wrestling at the Division I level? I know it feels like you guys are supporting it, pushing it. Yeah.
Frickin' love it. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming here. I mean, it has to come.
Do you guys have any idea a timetable on when you think that might happen?
I don't. But it's you if you don't like women and you want to stop it, too bad.
Well, it's great though. It's great wrestling
awesome.
too, right? I mean,
it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wrestling.
Yeah.
It's women that are very, very competitive, that want to. It's humans. It's human. It's a human journey. Be the best at my sport. Be the best in the world at what I do.
Yeah.
And why not? I mean,
well, and
and
Iowa high school girls wrestling is growing
by
leaps and bounds, correct?
That's awesome. Our the vision for that has been awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak highly enough about women's wrestling.
Yeah, to me, when it first started, I think all the old school guys, whether they said it out loud or not, were not for it. But, it eliminates the Title IX problem, and women's wrestling is excellent. Like, that foot sweep that Helen Maroulis hit in the Olympic trials finals, was exquisite in any sport at any level.
Yeah.
Was high-level technique.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, what do you think about, the idea of one semester? I mean, you guys obviously wrestled a shortened season this year, and so it's almost like a test run at it. Do you think it would be better for the sport, for the kids, if they went January to April? Do you like it the way it is, and why?
Why? You tell me, why are we going to... Now, here's the thing. For me and where we're at, I don't know why you want to mess with it. The way that the worlds are set up, the way that the Olympics are set up in August, and the way that fits our international trials process, I don't know why you want to change that and go into April. I don't get that.
I can tell you business-wise why, but I mean...
Okay, what? Because we're not up against the...
Basketball.
Okay, so what are we up against?
Nothing in April.
Nothing? The NFL draft? NBA? Hockey? So then...
NFL draft wouldn't be the same weekend. Hockey playoff
wouldn't be the same weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're just talking about
But the Final Four isn't the same weekend either.
No, but the round of 64 is, and that gets a ton of attention.
Okay, well,
and the other argument academically is the kids can get more acclimated in the fall.
And that's what makes wrestling great, is that
you have to
acclimate when you're coming in, and you have to be so doggone on top of things that when you get here, you get your academics, you figure out your academics, you figure out your wrestling, you figure out your social life, and boom, you hit the pavement and you're running. That's how I see it. I don't know. I know there's a push for it, but I don't know strong reasons why.
You'd leave it the way it is.
I would.
Yeah. I don't think any interview with Iowa would be complete without asking about Spencer Lee. Obviously, what he did at the Nationals, basically no ACLs, and probably just as impressive was his interviews about it and handling it. Is he going to have surgery in the offseason? Somebody had sent me an article that said if your hamstrings are strong enough that you can just recover from this by just rest. What are you allowed to tell me about this?
We have a really great medical team. I'm gonna really answer this, on the DL.
Sure. If you don't want to answer it, that's fine too.
I can answer it the way that I want to answer it. I don't want to give you a lot of information because I don't know what he's comfortable with the people know.
Fair enough.
We get a lot of opinions.
I'm sure.
We get emails and things and this. Did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see this exercise? Did you see this brace? Bionics are out now, and, so...
He already seems bionic on top.
Yeah, so, that stuff, we get it, and we love it because it means that there's a lot of people that care about us. He's going to get healthy. He's going to get healthy, and he's going to do it the way that he wants to do it. He really super disappointed in not being able to wrestle in the trials.
Yeah, I would imagine... it's not the same thing, but like when Soriano tested positive for COVID and you don't get to wrestle because of something,
Well, that sucks too.
Yeah, I mean,
that sucks for Nick. That's just, and same thing for Cox. It doesn't matter what the reason is, it sucks.
Yeah.
You can't wrestle, that you can't compete, something that you've trained your whole life.
Yeah.
And then they for whatever reason, Spencer, different than
Soriano,
Nick, different than Jade, It sucks. There's no easy way to skin that one.
Yeah, that part's that there's, it's really, yeah. I mean, it's just a tough pill to swallow. You guys, you, Tom, and the whole team, you guys are so driven. Is there like a motto or a saying that you guys either live your lives by, or like a, like a, sort of a mantra that you have the team live by, anything like that?
There's a philosophy that's in place, and that's, do your best in everything that you're doing, whether it's academics. If I'm socializing, I'm going to be the best socializer. If I'm at home with my wife and she's cooking dinner, I'm going to be the most attentive husband that I can be. And
I remember that the last time we talked. Be 100% in
and-
everything you're doing.
Yeah, and that's a biblical timeless principle. It's timeless, and you can't argue it. And the pie-shaped stuff where, oh, I'm a wrestler 49% of the time, and then I'm a husband, da 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 da, and I'm a dad, da da. No, it's not. It's what you are. It's who you are, and what you do all together combined that makes you who you are. And everything that you do should be at the highest level. The love that you give out and the things of that nature. It's not complicated to me at all. High level mentality will get you there. Not being a victim, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Our guys they're on it. We got great people that way.
Just a few more questions. I appreciate the time. What are your thoughts on the portal? I want to frame this correctly. You guys had 30 some odd guys in the team, 10 guys went to the tournament. Everybody's points count. Mathematically, the points that Jaden Ironman scored were the difference between taking first and second. I'm not saying he is. I'm not in any way trying to diminish any of the other 30 some odd people on the team. But obviously, you and other programs have benefited from the portal. And I haven't looked it up. Maybe you've lost a guy or two in the portal. I have no idea. But what are your thoughts about it? I saw another coach say that it used to be too hard to leave to a school. Now it's too easy. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
That's pretty profound there. You could get me to discuss that. I think that it's like anything else where the lay of the landscape with pay the athletes and the NIL, not the NLL, not the NLI, but the NIL, name, image, likeness.
Yes.
It's coming. You're not going to stop it. It's the movement of the culture right now.
Right.
So again, here's the thing: as you notice, as we talk about certain things, I'm not in the business to change stuff. That's probably why I don't want to go to a one-semester sport. I want to stay because it's working for me. It's working for wrestling. In my brain, it works. It's a business. I get it, but the business is good to me. Same thing with this. I'm not going to lobby to change the portal because it's the way that the landscape is. We're going to slide. We're going to move to the point where, hey, we did before the portal.
Sure.
And if we lose somebody and they go into the portal and there's no hard feelings, no big deal. And if they make drama about it and they want to leave the program, then no big deal, because that's best for them. Hopefully that's not going to be the case, but if that's what they ultimately want to do, then it's kind of like the recruiting statement that I made about they don't want to be here, then what's the point? Why would you sign a letter of intent to be here if you don't want to be here? It's the same thing. Why do I want to keep a guy here if he doesn't want to be here?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, but overall, you feel like it's good for kids to have opportunities if it's something hasn't worked out?
I like what the coach had said, that it used to be too hard, now it's too easy, because it does give you an out. You can quit on a dream. I wanted to wrestle at X institution, and I could see down the future, I'm not going to get in the lineup till I'm a junior, I'm out. That's an easy way, and it kind of erodes mentality maybe a little bit. I could see that.
Yeah.
So maybe it is too easy, but it's not ever going to be something that is going to be a one-person decision. It's always going to be discussed. It's always going to be on the table. And as the culture ebbs and flows, and as the times come and go, it'll shift back the other way. And let's see where this NIL goes. Let's see where this name, image, likeness goes. What are we going to be able to do? what's it going to do with rules? What's it going to do with rules breaking? What's it going to do? Well, we think that it's going to be the same. You're just going to have.
It's not going to be the same.
It is. Alabama's still going to be Alabama.
Oh, that way, yeah.
I mean, the hierarchies.
Oh, yeah.
The programs that work at being excellent are going to be excellent.
That part, yeah.
They're going to use the rules, and they're going to use this NIL, and they're going to come up with these fascinating ways that are within the rule structure to create a really, really great and powerful institution that these kids can come to and be able to develop their brand, which is really what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Aren't we doing that anyway?
Yeah, there'd be direct compensation.
Now we can add, a little bit more incentive. Now there's more maybe money. There's more monetary. It's like we talked about with the, you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
They do it because they love it. But now they're not going to turn this money around that Congress is working on getting for them.
Yeah, for sure. One last thing. I think the last time I talked to you, your son was a senior in high school, if I remember correctly. What's it like being a college coach and having him on the team? Do you find yourself trying to overcoach him? Do you find yourself maybe like staying away from him and letting his do his own thing?
It's been awesome. He's done a great job for us, and I have zero issues with him being in the room, and I don't see like it was any whatever to try to have a relationship with him.
Sure.
The difference between high school and now is in high school I wasn't in the room, so why am I going to tell Rylan how to coach
you
him?
Specifically said that you're like, I trust him with Rylan.
Now, yeah.
But now it's different.
Now he's in the room, and hey, Nels, when you got to get your head out of your tail, you better get your head out of your tail. And I can see the frustration that Rylan had with him at times, and it's been good. It's been good for both of us, and our relationship has gotten better. It hasn't gotten weaker. It's gotten better.
I would assume that. I just wonder, like my dad was my coach, and I never asked him, but I wonder if sometimes he's like, maybe I should just ease off, because I see him at night or that kind of thing.
Your dad probably wondered the same thing about another athlete that he's not dad to. Like I think about that with guys too. Should I let up on this guy a little bit? Should I let him be on his own a little bit more today?
Sure.
So it's the same. It's the same, and even if he had gone somewhere else, my relationship would be growing. I wouldn't let it be any other way. And if he was stepping away from me, then I would be like, hey, I'm here for you. I love you. I always will. If you need anything, let me know.
Yeah, I get it. I always try to get one question from somebody on the outside. Somebody asked me to ask, what was it like? Because you guys, this, I'm sure. You guys can be seen as intimidating and that sort of thing. Caleb Young is now engaged to Tom's daughter. Is that correct?
Well, he's actually married.
Married?
Now.
Okay, married. Okay. Yeah. I can only imagine being on the team and then knocking on your coach's door and saying, I want your daughter's hand in marriage. Like, do you have any idea how that went? Or
I think it went great. I think it went great, and I think Caleb understands where the boundary is. And Madigan, she can take care of herself.
I'm sure.
She's very mature. She was very mature even when she was in junior high and high school, and she's awesome. She's an awesome young woman, and they're an awesome young couple, and they got God at the center, and I wish him all the best, and I think that it's been really, really good for him.
That's awesome. Well, I drove 4 hours here, and sometimes when you get out of the car, you're a little flat energy-wise, and every time I talk to you, I feel like I want to go run a hill. I don't know how many I can run these.
Wrestler's Hill's right over there. Less than.
I lost 50 pounds since the last time I saw you.
You look good.
But I don't know how many of those hills I can do.
You crush those hills.
But I appreciate the time, Terry. I really do. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, and good luck next season, okay?
We appreciate you. Thank you.